Good afternoon. This is Ron Convers Jr. I'm a Team Dynamic Discs player, and I've given you an in the bag before at Texas States, but my bag has morphed and changed a little bit, so I thought it was time to do another one. We'll start with some of the new additions, and I'll start with the most stable. Right now, I'm using the Stiletto in the Opto plastic. It's probably the most stable disc that I've had the opportunity to throw. I really like this for spikes, long spikes. It's very fast. At the same time, if you need to throw a sharp S where you've got it and you release it almost vertical, it'll come out of it and come all the way back around and give you a finish hard to the left if you're a right-handed player. I also have the gold line version, which is a little less of a meat hook. This is a lighter weight. It's only 168. The other one is a max weight. And so this one I can stretch out a little bit further. I'll throw it with a hard Anheuser on release, and it'll still come out and give me a nice, long, fast spike at and finish almost vertical. The XXX has stayed in my bag the whole way through. I've gone to an Opto rather than the gold line, and I'm having good results with the really flat Optos and being a great overstable, shorter range putter or shorter range driver that'll allow me to throw skip shots in or just fight any wind, and it makes the curves a lot easier. If I have to keep a curve all the way around, I can throw this and know it's not going to stop. I like the Giant a lot still. That hasn't changed. This is the one I had in the bag at Texas States, and it's still the most stable Giant I've got in the bag. It's really, really lasted well. The plastic's held up. It's the tournament plastic seems to be more stable in all the ones I've tried. This one's the most stable. It's a max weight tournament plastic. This is a little bit less stable, but it's also a 167 or 168, and I can get a long flight out of this, and then it'll hook up and be a very stable finish. This is the VIP plastic, and what I'm getting out of it is a very straight, long flight with a hard finish, but it starts out very straight. I wasn't sure initially about the Trespass, and I didn't use it as much. At this point, I'm in love with it. The Shield version of the Fusion Trespass is by far the most stable version, and it is probably second for me in distance overall of all my discs. This one, I can occasionally get to fly farther than my really flippy discs, and considering that this is an overstable, long, straight, I'm very, very happy with it. The Lucid version is less stable for me all the way through. All the Lucid ones I've had have been a little bit less stable, and so I'm using this as a long turnover disc. I think I had the Boatman in there when I made the last video, and it has remained in the bag. I don't use it as much. I'm starting to get it to where it's straightening up, and it may come out of the bag before too long, but it's still right there. I took a couple out. The Trident came out of the bag and was replaced by my, I guess this would be a Proto Verdict in the Lucid version. And I have the Biofusion, but the Lucid one is stable enough that I can throw it like a driver, and it carries probably into the low threes very dependably, but it finishes much more predictably for me. It slows down faster, but at the same time, it's got enough zip to get out there, and it does what I need to get those into the wind shots that have to have some touch. The escape. I think this is still the same escape. This goes as far, almost as far as my Trespass in straight to anhyzer shots. If I can release it with a hyzer and work it on the S, it'll go a tremendously long way. And it's just so very straight, even when I pump it hard. I've got several others that are almost identical to this one, and it's not going to come out of the bag anytime soon. The Suspect. I have two different Suspects in the bag right now. This is my up to 300 foot range touch accuracy approach. It's slightly overstable, not as overstable as it could be. This one, the Fusion version, is more stable than the Biofusion. My Biofusion Suspect is almost straight, but it has a really, really good, solid finish to the left, and it leaves me with really no question as to what my disc is going to do on those approach shots that, you know, you just got to have. Brand new addition to the bag, the Truth. This one is the Fusion, and I've got a couple others I'm testing out. Of the three, this is the less stable version, and it's also the lightest. This one's a 176, max is 180. And I believe that this is going to be taking the place of my less stable buzzes, where I want it to go out a little bit further than I could go with a Fugitive or any of the Buzz Wasp type discs. This one's going to be a farther distance. It's still a work in progress. It's the Tursa. Surprised me. It's very flippy. I like it a lot. It's got such a comfortable feel in the hand. I can release it with a hyzer, have it come out and roll and give me a nice anhyzer finish. Short range, it would be what I've replaced a lot of my old short range discs. I mean, this took the place of both the Meteor, in my opinion, and the Comet, and it just jumped right in there into my hand like I was meant to throw it. It's really nice. The Fury. The Furies came into about the middle of the season. I picked up the Fury, and it's been a really good, solid anhyzer to anhyzer roller. I can throw this, and it's got a really dependable rate of turn from left to right. It gives me a shorter range roll that I can use on, say, up to probably 350. That's about the maximum distance I can get out of this in any sort of conditions. The Bomber. This is the king, and it is still the farthest disc I think I've ever thrown. This one's been in the bag for a long time. I think I had it at Texas States, and it's become a little more beat up. It's still very dependable on how fast it turns over, but it turns over faster than it used to. Can't say enough about how easy this is to get distance out of. This is my long distance roller, and if I want to throw a shot that is a tailwind shot and gives me room to play, this is probably where I'm going to go, because it goes for me. It goes easily. The putters, still got the same classic soft judges, but when it starts to get really hot out there, I noticed I was getting a little bit too much flex on impact, and so I talked to my friend Pete Cashin, and he gave me a classic hard that he had broken in, and I've got a pair of these that really, when it hits about 100 degrees, I'll start throwing these. They're not quite as overstable as my soft classics, but they're still very dependable and they're still a judge. I have two more that are short approach or short drive discs. The Team Fusion Judge, this is a driving putter, straight, very straight, finishes with a tiny bit of hyzer, but very dependably straight. And of course the Cenis in zero plastic, the zero soft, real soft, malleable. I've had this one in since Texas States, and it still is overstable. I thought that it would abrade and I'd lose some of the edge and it would wear down, and it hasn't. It's been really durable. It's by far, it's been a surprise. I didn't expect it to last this long and still be as overstable as it is. This is one of those, when the wind is blowing pretty hard, I can count on it for the putt. It fights it, and it's become a go-to favorite in really nasty conditions. That's my in the bag for late 2013.